I don't recognize this name. I'm going to take a chance. I really don't want to do this, but I'm going to take a chance and see if we can't get this person to introduce themselves. And first thing I'd like you to do is introduce yourself and make it clear that you are not a psychotic person. The floor is
Hi,
yours.
hi, Adam. No, it's Meme. I'm not a psychotic person.
Excellent. See, that's the way you enter a call.
I've been pretty ill the last 3 or 4 weeks, so I've missed a whole lot of stuff.
Okay.
So this question is semi-multi-part.
Hmm.
Do you feel that with the polls changing, that the Democrats are leaning more towards censure? And if they do decide to censure the president, will it have less weight to it if it's strictly partisan lines?
Oh, absolutely. I think if you move towards censure historically, this is a severe congressional rebuke and largely left up to one chamber to undertake. I can't imagine you're going to get too many Republicans to all of a sudden admit that, you may get a couple because there have been a couple in the House who have just said, kind of similar to what Will Hurd has said. And Will Hurd is from a barely plus R leaning district in I believe Houston area in Texas. He's not coming back. So if anybody was going to turn on Trump on this regard, it would be like a Will Hurd. But so far, he has found you know inappropriateness to be the word that he will lend to. Certain senators have used the word inappropriate. That inappropriate falls well short of. I mean, we're talking. It falls stratosphere short for impeachment. But that would be a lot of willful things have to go wrong to get to impeachment. And the same is true for censure. And if it wasn't such a serious thing to do, it would have been done against the president more than one time in American history. Attempted maybe a couple times, but only completed successfully once. And the umbrage that Andrew Jackson took um, from that censure motion was such that when his party, the Democrat Party, took over a couple years later, that was removed. That decision was rescinded. So back then, censure was a way to get out to the Americans at large that the president had made grave error, and his error was so grave that Congress must come together and issue this the most public form and the most official form of rebuke that they possibly can. The problem for the Democrats moving to censure now is that they will have to explain why they're walking it back. Now, as Democrats walk this back, why would any Republicans walk it forward? Even if they wanted to be good little soldiers trying to bring back good governance and parties working together again, and maybe they want to get the USMCA signed, maybe they want to lower prescription drug prices, they want to get this stuff done. But you're not going to get too many Republicans doing that. And I'll tell you that the biggest reason is because Donald Trump does not consider this to be a point of negotiation. So if Donald Trump is telling McCarthy or Scalise, this is a no-go. Don't you dare negotiate with these people about censure, because that to me is just more is evidence of wrongdoing, and I'm not going to be a party to it. And frankly, I'll never get my truth out, and in the form of a Senate trial. So I believe that they may talk about this, and the Republicans will be smart and they'll let them talk. But what you won't see is and hopefully this is where I count on Trump's uh, objectivity or a little bit of keeping his powder dry. I mean, I know that probably all of us know that that's not always the way that the cookie crumbles with Donald Trump. But if he does do that, the Democrats are just going to let that string play out, because the earlier that we reject censure, the earlier that the Democrats will say, see, we tried to do this another way. We tried to move forward, get the president to acknowledge his behavior is rogue and unconstitutional. But look, the Republicans, they can't even do this. First, they won't participate in our hearings, which we know is a lie. And then the next step is they won't even talk about censure. So at this point, I think while it is an option, it's only an option that the Democrats can bring together, and we don't need a unanimous decision on this. This is a plus 150% majoritarian decision. It does not need to be taken up by both chambers, even though they will try that as well. It won't work. So as you can see, if you're AOC, if you're Ilhan Omar, it doesn't matter really who you are in that caucus. If you're crazy West, out into the left field, and you demand nothing less than impeachment, that's a real letdown. Because I can tell you what, Rachel Maddow, Stetler, Jake Tapper, Joe Scarborough, you name them, right? They're gonna rake Chuck Chad on Sundays. They're gonna rake over the coals the Democrats who went along with this. So I still believe it's an option. I think if they were smart, they would have pivoted to that a lot earlier. But I think the first thing on their agenda right now is to how can we make this thing last longer, get around the DNC nomination process for their presidential nominations, and maybe take it up again in the summer after the conventions, and literally try to go into a political season with open-ended impeachment inquiries, which would be hellaciously risky. But at least then they will have court decisions about executive privilege. Maybe Pompeo will have to give up documents. Maybe Pompeo will have to testify. Maybe Bolton will testify. Maybe Bolton will go off and violate NDAs and screw executive privilege. A lot of good things can happen for the Democrats, but only if they leave the barn door open for a long time.
Interesting. Well, thanks for your answer. It's cleared up a lot for me, and
Thank
I
you.
kind of get where we're going.
Thank you. And stay tuned in. We're not normally on Monday, but Tuesday, Saturdays. And maybe I'll throw one of these in, and depending on how well it goes. First two questions were excellent, and I want to thank you for chiming in.
Thank you.
See, it doesn't have to be too hard, people. We've had two excellent questions that I think other people had, and we got them answered. And they are long-winded on my part because I don't want to miss any vague possibility that I left it unaddressed, almost like I'm verbalizing the unwritten academic papers that are written in my head all the time. So let me catch up now. And if you tried, you may try again. So I'm ready for a next question. In the meantime, anything you can look forward to? Well, I look forward to every day. I look forward to every day. What is going to happen? I believe the Democrats are constantly confused. If you are a football fan watching it like I was tonight, the Democrats are trying to figure out how to stop Lamar Jackson. And I believe that President Trump is that version of a quarterback right now.